Hello there, good evening everybody, welcome along. It's Sunday night, 7 o'clock, and that can of course only mean one thing. Hello and a big warm welcome back to 4-0 Sunday Live. New intro, plenty of new limbs, why not a fresh revamped countdown? No change to the fantastic faces on our panel. Alongside me this evening after a busy week for us both, the man Barney is here. The fantastic Gaz live from Malta, I'm hoping can still hear us. If he can, I want to ask him to give me a nod. He's waiting in the studio, and if he can hear us. Okay, I think he might have found some Wi-Fi, so we'll get to him in just a moment. He's joining us live from Bournemouth Airport this evening, which is extremely exciting. Retro shirt, Sean is back with us and slightly more positive about Pompey than usual. The P-Town legend, Mr. John Messino in the bottom and left-hand corner of your screen. And the festive Hayward has got the jumper on already. I think we're all missing it. We're going to save them for the Christmas special, son. He's gone early.
Well, I've gone early, but, it's December now, so why not?
Why not? Barn, what a performance. What a squad. Every man in grey and white. A delight to watch yesterday.
Yeah, good evening, mate. Good evening, everyone. What a pleasant weekend, really. Great way to end the week after a sort of pretty terrible last weekend. 6 points in 5 days. You can't really ask for much more.
Oh, what's happened there? I've clicked the wrong button. I've clicked completely the wrong button. I'm delighted to say, alongside us this evening, all the way from Bournemouth Airport, ladies and gentlemen. He's here, he's live with us, and he's just about to board the flight. Gazza, welcome.
Yep.
Are you with us?
Yeah, can you hear me all right?
We can hear you, mate.
Yeah.
We can hear you loud and clear.
It's an exclusive. This is an exclusive outdoor broadcasting now. So
very good, mate. The powers of 4-0 Sunday Live are just phenomenal. I can't believe it.
It's dedication. Dedication is.
What time's boarding?
They're queuing up now. You know what they're like. They're like to get on early. Even though I've got my seat booked. No one's going to sit in my seat. I can get on at the end and I'll still get my seat. But they're already queuing up now. I've still got about probably another 10 minutes before I can head over, or 10, 15 minutes. So for the first time, Lion Air are early. I can't believe it.
Fantastic work. He's joining us down the line from the Departures Lounge. I'm not sure how much longer he's going to be able to stay with us, but for as long as we can, we've got him. John, what a day yesterday. We couldn't find any lunch to begin with, a bit of a 4-0 exclusive. We thought that was a bad omen, but it proved not to be, and probably the best we've seen from this group under yourself, John.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought the day would start off terribly when there was no Nando's, and we trekked halfway across Northampton to find a 7-bone. And then I ordered 2 loads of different food, potato tots, and then fries, and then barely touched it. Overall the game, like you mentioned, that was clearly Pompey's best game of the season. The first 45 was just so fluent. It was good one-touch football. Paddy Lane's second goal was literally one-touch football over the top, and then he's knocked it in, and then Messino mentioned it after the game. That was like how it was at Barnsley, but they didn't see it out. They did the exact opposite yesterday and saw the game out completely. Got a goal, got the third goal very early on in the second half, and then just saw the game out. It could have been 6 or 7. I think that was one of the key points we took after the game, was if they did take those chances, it could have been 6, 7, 8 yesterday. But still 3-0 win and 5 goals in 2 games, 0 conceded since Blackpool last weekend. So a very good reaction.
We'll get into it in a lot more detail later, Hayward. Lots of stat packages to go through tonight, but I'll put the same thing to you as I did to Lino last night. To be 1 game short of 20 games and have already broken the 40-point mark is a remarkable achievement, isn't it?
Oh, it's a remarkable achievement this season. And obviously, as we say, if you average 2 points a game in this division, you're not going to be far off. We've just got to obviously keep that up. But yeah, phenomenal bounce back from obviously the disappointment this time last week at home to Blackpool. Obviously that took us all a little bit by surprise, I guess, losing in that manner. But even in that sort of game, and obviously we touched on it when we chatted sort of privately and offline, that we weren't terrible in that game. We just got undone by some big chances, and then we had a man sent off. But yeah, two wins away from home to back that up this week. We're well and truly back. Season's back on.
Over 160 of you joining us straight from the off here on 4-0 Sunday Live. So welcome to you all, including Dan, who says, evening all, what a difference a week makes. AP joins us all the way from snowy Maine in the US of A. Hello to Joseph. Great 2 wins. Can see once Yankee getting a goal, he'll start banging them in. Mikey says, good evening, good morning, Barney. And good morning, Andrew. Hello to Ollie. Welcome along. Hello to Lee on Facebook. Dildo's in as well. Bounce around if you're top of the league. Becky says, Gaz is a legend. Gaz is absolutely a legend. Hello to Ryan, who said, Gaz deserves a medal for support. I was literally the most happy man when that happened for Gaz on there. Today, I was like, no one deserves it more than him. Stephen said, fantastic performance, great atmosphere, and deserved the win. Well, Stephen, let's have a little reminder of that great atmosphere, shall we? Before we get into plenty more from myself and the boys, let's take a moment to remind ourselves of all the action from yesterday's memorable outing in Sixfields. Good morning, Andrew.
Yeah, morning, Tom. What a chilly one it is this morning.
Another chilly one this morning. There were times in that first half where Pompey looked unplayable, and it was just a case of keep your eyes on this team because they keep showing us how good they can be.
Absolutely fantastic. To a man, played fantastic.
I think ourselves and 1,400 other Pompey fans have just watched our best performance of the season.
It's a great day out.
To be 1 game shy of 20 games, 19 league games now under our belt, to have already broken the 40-point mark is quite impressive.
We're undefeated away. We're nearly halfway through the season.
And maybe we are seeing the making of potential champions. Who knows? We're all getting very excited, but that football was liquid. All the best moments from yesterday's ice-cold 3-0 win, the first Pompey League victory at Sixfields in over 6 years. And much to Barney's delight, all the clips were in the correct and chronological order this evening. The Man of the Match poll is up and running. Cast your vote in the live chat down below. We'll go over that at about 7:30, so not an awful lot of time to get that in. Your choices tonight are Alex Robertson, Paddy Lane, Christian Sadie and Sean Raggett. Little snigger from... Retro in the top left-hand corner, and for legal reasons, that was snigger and nothing else. Probably the hardest Man of the Match poll we've ever had on 4-0 Sunday Live. Lane, Robertson, Sadie. I'm glad I didn't mess that one up, Hayward. Lane, Robertson, Sadie, Shaughnessy, Raggett. Take your pick. There are so many to choose from. Retro, we'll start with you. Let's get into a bit more detail. Northampton needed to be at it and Pompey needed to be off it from their point of view. And I think the exact opposite happened. They were outclassed and outfought by a Pompey side at pretty much full pelt according to the stats and the numbers as a result of yesterday.
Yeah, I think what it sort of brought it to me was the actual team performance. We were, it was more the fact that we needed a full-on team performance to actually get through this. we were suffering from morale being away, etc. But you know, it was just everyone came up and everyone on the day played well, and I just liked the fact that we dominated the midfield from the start to the finish. Robertson was amazing. Sadie was a handful, and it was just nice to see. It was really good.
Good stuff, and pretty much in all departments that matter there, Pepe. It's a case of no Bishop, no Paul, no problem from a Pompey point of view.
No, absolutely not. And I thought Kuseni Yengi filled that role beautifully yesterday. He could have got 2 or 3 himself. I know Lino, I was stood next to yesterday, was begging for a Kuseni Yengi goal. Unfortunately, it didn't come. He hit the bar as well, didn't he? But I think the only thing that differs from Kuseni Yengi to Colby Bishop is the press. We didn't see as much pressing from Kuseni Yengi as we would with Colby Bishop, but he looked solid on his first league start of the season for the club. And yeah, I mean, for all we know at the moment, he'll be starting over the next couple of weeks while Bishop's out. But yeah, I thought he filled the role beautifully yesterday.
Thanks, John. We've got a certain someone here with us tonight. He's luckily for most people, he's not staying for long. He's going to go and have something to eat. How impressed were you with yesterday?
Yes, mate. Very impressed. Gaz, lovely to see you again. There you are at the airport.
Yep, we're hanging in here. Can you hear me all right?
I'm really worried he's going to miss his flight. I don't know.
But I'm just looking at the queue, you know. It's going down, shall we say. So that's good. That's good news.
Good man. Retro, how are you, son? All right?
Living the dream. I'm a big Raggett fan.
Good man. Well,
this week.
We know that this week. I think everyone is this week. Aren't they, Pepsi Cola?
Oh, mate, what a player he is. What a player. Who doubted him? Name and shame these people that doubted Sean Raggett.
Exactly, mate. Exactly. I'm with you on this one. Barnes.
Evening, mate. Evening. Been to the gym yet?
Thanks for driving yesterday, mate.
Always.
I've been for a run tonight, mate. Not for a gym.
Don't look quite as flushed as usual.
Thank you. I'll just have a nice cool shower. Thanks, mate. Get to a certain age, you know.
I'm not far off.
Yeah, Haywood's in the room.
He's festive.
I am festive.
Sporting it. Looks nice, mate. Like it. Yeah, nice one.
Just a quick word from you. We have got so much to pack in for next
time.
I'm really sorry. I know you want to say hello to everyone. We've already said hello to everyone.
Okay.
Everyone is saying hello to you though, so that's all good.
That's good then.
That's all good.
That's all good. Yeah.
What did you make of it all yesterday?
Oh, mate, it's Blackpool revisited, isn't it? Let's face it, we've just gone full circle. What I did say to you earlier in the car was, my question is, with Bishop not being in there, and our little friend Morel, has that made a difference to the team? Obviously, it's made a difference to the team, clearly, hasn't it? But has that allowed us to play more freely and not look for those 2 target people all the time? Is that what we needed? A little bit of freedom for everyone else.
I'll put that to the gang. Barn, plenty of balance on 4-0 Sunday Live as always. Some would have maybe thought whether we're a better side without Colby. Sample size of one game is extremely small. What do you make of the difference that Yengi brought?
I think the difference of having Sadie playing confidently in the 10 has been sort of easy to see. The goal from Bolton was, I think, a great example of that, because Morel is so commanding and happy to take the ball on in all positions that he'll often, scream at Norris, give me the ball, let me move it on, let me play out from the back with it. Whereas quite a few times Norris has chipped it over that front line and gone straight to Sadie, and then he's held it up quite well and delivered out to the wings. So I quite like the difference of it, because I think a few teams had got to learn our patterns of play too easily.
Yeah.
And it's made a good difference for just changing it up, and it was needed.
Gaz has put his bag on, so it may well be the last time we hear from him. But thoughts on the sort of you saw it yourself, Gaz, how good the team were yesterday. Is there then a world, perhaps, given what Barney's saying, where you could see a Yengi and a Bishop as a second striker? Can you get them both in the same team?
Yeah, I'm sure. Obviously, Moutinho has some plans. Plan A, Plan B, Plan C for suspensions and for injuries and stuff like that. So, I'm sure in the future they will definitely see something like that, spearheading Pompey's attack. But obviously, everyone's going to discuss about the game tomorrow. Later on today, I've obviously got to get the flight. Before I go, Tom, I just want to say thank you for the weekend. I know, Tom, you don't get enough applause for what you do on Sunday Live and all the other stuff you do, but I've really been impressed doing the behind the scenes and stuff like that for the 4-0 Live and all that. I just want to say, thank you for the weekend, and thank you to everyone who spoke to me as well at the game and made the weekend really special. It was a good day.
You're a special man, Gaz. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
Please go and get that flight. I'm worried about you.
We'll see you
shortly. Safe journey, mate.
Love you all. Take care, people. Bye.
a special mention for the 1400 in that away end yesterday as well, Retro. I mean, I'm sure they were making lots of noise back home. It was quite a special atmosphere, wasn't it?
It was. So watching it online, and it was good to see the crowd bouncing. It was they were really enjoying every moment of it, and I think the players delivered a spectacle for them, and I think they sort of fed off each other. It was a good show.
Sold out away in barn, making a lot of noise. John Messina was delighted. There's obviously plenty of us in the, 3 of us on the panel tonight that were there in person. And Gaz, before he left us, he wanted to send us all happy home with 3 points. What a pleasure that was to be part of.
Yeah, you could see even he was struggling not to give a fist pump at the end. He was having a laugh. You could see a couple of his coaches, assistants, and I think even Max gave him a little go on. And but only Terry, and I think it was Terry and Paddy gave the fist pumps, didn't they? You could see there's some camaraderie going on there. There's some positive vibes. If everyone, you hear the cliche things modern nowadays, don't you? It's not just the manager, it's not just the coaches, it's the whole crew. Even your Max Swattons and your others, they're all part of it. If you've got an annoying social media guy, I can imagine in this day and age that's really annoying. We have one leading this group that we'd all rather just pipe down every now and again. So yeah, it all looked very good at the end of the day yesterday.
I'm not going to comment. Hayward, every other result in League One went our way yesterday. I mean, you never normally get that.
No, yeah, it was a good old day for us, wasn't it? No, it was funny when I did see that us being out the FA Cup. Who knew that would be such a good thing, eh? Having a day where it was just us playing and we had a chance to make up some ground or put some space between us, I guess. No, I think you boys touched on it. The support's mental, go home and away, and it's just. And I think Moutinho sort of lost. He can't say any more about it now in his post-match analysis. And yeah, I think that everything about yesterday was good for us, and obviously putting three points of daylight between us and the likes of Bolton, who we've got very, very soon, is a very big step in the right direction. It just allows us a little bit of breathing room.
We'll spend the last 10 minutes chatting about the prospect of Bolton at Fratton Park in a week or so's time. Joe said, I always forget that Sadie's only 21. He's been in decent form. Joe on Facebook, Yengi's done well and allowed for quicker play up top, less press, quicker breaks. Gav saying, is there any truth for us looking for a striker in January? I don't think we go too far wrong. Pack being back has improved us. Eddie, thank you for mentioning Pack. He's on the list to chat about later on in the show. Graham says, this team is special. Everyone stepped up. And Dave Birch said, lovely to see the League One team of the week. Yeah, I'd love to see that as well. I'm sure it is pretty much blue and white. Let's chat about the goals in a little bit more detail. The first goal, Retro, Raggett left alone in the box. That's always a recipe for disaster. There's no coincidence that Retro is going to be talking about Sean Raggett scoring. Another fantastic Sparks delivery and a goal at an important time. We've been keen to start games better, haven't we?
Yeah, it was good to see a strong start from the Pompey side, and Raggett is a handful. We do know what his strengths are, and he's a physical player, gets in the box, and he finishes well. And if you put the ball there, he's one of the players that will compete for it, and he will always weigh in with goals. He didn't put a foot wrong in the game yesterday, and I think that was probably because of the strength of the players around him. They bring out the best in him, and he's not the best ball player at the feet, but he was shot himself to one side. That's great, and he seems to be more settled when he's not dictating the play. And I think, with the other players around him, giving him options, the midfield dropping back for him, I think then he's protected and then he can play to his strengths. And he's a solid defender, and he's always committed. It's just the fact, I think, when he's got players around him who don't know him, or who aren't as good, who maybe not as good at comfortable on the ball, it exposes him more because he's less so.
John, we've been talking about how different the two players are in terms of Regan. Raggett, kind of, we were all expecting it to be this massive, obvious change, weren't we? And potentially a Blackpool, and you could maybe say Charlton, although I don't think he put a foot wrong there either. Yesterday, that ball playing ability from Raggett, the way he could have carries the ball forward, it was everything that Regan was doing. I spoke to you about how we were demanding Regan pull standards of Sean Raggett, whose skill set isn't in that area. Sean Raggett shows he's an adaptable fella, and he popped up with a goal yesterday as well.
Oh, absolutely. On the ball yesterday, I think was the best we've ever seen Sean Raggett play football. Genuinely, some of the moves he was doing, and we just couldn't believe what we were witnessing. He was whipping out Cruyff turns and everything, and turning the opposition strikes. I was thinking, I can't believe what I'm seeing. And then confidence to run with the ball through the Northampton press and find balls left, right, centre. He was everywhere, and he was winning everything in the air as well. So I think in some way you could look at it. Maybe Regan Poole coming in could have been that kick to show him that he is adaptable, because we've seen Sean Raggett for 5 years now, and we've seen elements over short spells of what he can do, but everyone's always doubted him and his ball playing abilities. Now we're actually, our style of play is ball playing and playing out from the back. He's been trusted, you are my man now until January at least, by John Messino. And the last couple of games, Burton and Northampton yesterday, on the ball, playing out from the back, he was confident. And whoever doubted Sean Raggett, not looking at anyone in particular, we're seeing the best of Sean Raggett, and he's getting goals as well. And yeah, I think there's a lot more confidence in having Sean Raggett in our defence now than probably earlier in the season.
Cheers, John. Graham said, what a brilliant performance yesterday. It's the best we've played for years. Bring on Bolton, play at Pompey. Hayward, let's have a look at that second goal. It's trademark from Paddy Lane, reminded me very much of Barnsley away, only just a little less spectacular. What did you make of that? And of course, this fabulous celebration.
I don't know, mate. I think you're harsh in saying that's less spectacular. Yes, not top corner, but to delicately put it over the keeper, it's not the easiest chance at all. He's made that look so easy. And yeah, it just shows, how far Paddy's come on, I think, this season, especially in terms of his finishing ability. He's obviously still very, very young. This is the first proper, I'd say, season, obviously, that we've had of him. And it's just reassuring to see Paddy will start chipping in with goals. Obviously, Retro's got his spreadsheet, so he's obviously, maybe the formula's changed on Paddy a little bit. It's a little bit of a better multiplier now. But no, I think that it's positive. Goals are coming from different areas of the pitch. Paddy braced, and Raggett. You need centre halves to chip in. Obviously, I don't think Poole will ever give us that same threat as Raggett gives us, but he sort of gives us a little bit of a lower blood pressure when he's got the ball at his feet. But if Raggett can keep playing, as he is. I mean, I saw flashes at Burton on Tuesday when I was watching that on iFollow, and especially start of the second half, we looked a bit worried with our feet at the back, and it was a little bit rushed. And I sort of saw that coming back to the fore. And it'll be interesting, all respect to Burton and Northampton, but these aren't teams that are going to be up there at the end of the season. So it's going to be a test when we play a team like Bolton that will properly press us and see how we deal with that. But confidence is key. If we can keep going and just sort of be picking up results, then it's no bad thing. You can only beat, obviously, who's in front of you.
And to be fair to Raggett, Barn, there was less of the blood pressure stuff, wasn't there, yesterday? I don't think we had maybe one or two, maybe even no heart-in-mouth moments of Raggett on the ball.
I don't think we had any, yeah. Like Pepsi Cola said, as your dad's just christened his name. I love that. Pepsi Massinho? No?
Yeah. We'll work on it.
We'll come back to that. Raggett looked like a next level of composure. There was, those kind of like, kind of moans from the crowd as Cruyff turned their striker, and you see the striker go, Christ, I've just been turned by someone who runs like with their legs like that. We love Raggett, but yeah, he's got knobbly knees. I love the man. I've always backed him, so I'm your number one fan, Sean. So sorry for the insult. He was fantastic yesterday. I'd argue in some degree you start with the most composure right at the back. Your two centre backs and your keeper. You want to, as you've said, we play out from the back now, so you want it to start from there. They've got to be almost the most composed, and that can then flow through the rest of the team going forward. He and Shaughnessy were both fantastic.
Aaron said Raggett was class. Hopefully he'll be back to his best. Retro, the third, slightly more difficult to see on our clips, but a third goal, that is. It's a lovely pick out from Alex Robertson, who we'll talk more about in a moment. A calm and composed finish from Paddy for his second of the afternoon. He didn't rush it. He took his time and he picked his spot nicely. That was Retro, by the way, if anyone was...
I think he was waiting for the clip.
I was waiting for the clip. Is there a clip?
It did sound like a tee up for a clip.
No, I don't know the clip. You're too far away.
Yeah, no, I think the goal from the second goal from Lane was, again, it was just the break from the midfield is what it's all about. Our game yesterday was very different without having Bishop there. It was the break from the midfield, the guys coming down the wings, coming through the middle, and then that one, Robertson feeding it through to Lane. It's that creativity from the midfield, which, Bishop, he's a bit more of a target man. He seems to attract all the balls to him. I think as he wasn't there, the other players were feeding off the midfield a lot more, and that's what the creativity came through. But yeah, it was a delight to see.
Retro, you're asking for a clip of the third goal. I wasn't going to show it because it's not a brilliant take, and there's a far better angle from behind the goal of one of the Pompey cameras that picks it out. But it's worth another look anyway. It's miles away, but it's still. I think that's the ball you can see going over there, and then it's just a tidy little tuck away.
Yeah, I say Robertson. It was just the pick out. It was nice.
Fabulous. And there we go. And someone's got someone to be. Let's talk about Christian Sadie. Safe to say, I think, actually, Hayward, that's probably the best I've seen from Sadie in a Pompey shirt since joining us. Great energy, absolutely creating chaos in all the right areas. It's not always perhaps the best on the eye, and I don't want you to think I'm being harsh again, but not everything he tries comes off, vis-a-vis the overhead kick that Pepe Lacey was about to go 3 rows in front of him when he saw it happen. But as we saw from the various chances he had, makes a real difference. A great assist for the second as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think that he's again a player that he's been sort of starved of minutes, and that's, through no fault of his own. He's obviously been doing stuff in training which has kept him in and around, and that's, through no fault of his own. Jesus. And yeah, so it's obviously a difficult one for him where he's just sort of had to be biding his time, and now he's got that opportunity. I saw him Tuesday against Bolton. I think it was clear that he was a little bit rusty for game time. I think in some cases, obviously, he did it phenomenally well when he sort of boshed that man off middle of the park. And then, we obviously scored from that chance. But I think that you saw yesterday far more where he's been able to sort of be in from the game from the start, much more comfortable. I mean, that one where he's taken on about 3 men and then it's been blocked. That would have been a lovely, lovely goal if that had come off. But yeah, it just gives us that sort of power. And I don't think a lot of the time our number 10s and the traditional number 10, you don't get that. You get a little bit more silk, as you see from Alex Robertson. But the fact that Robbo can play sort of the 8 role and do the defending and the attacking, it's given us so much flex to be able to just put someone in front of him and rely on him to do the defensive work whilst he's still chipping in with assists and sort of contributions up the other end of the pitch as well. I think that, they've both been phenomenal. And there's not enough superlatives for us to give Robertson. We just got to hope that Man City aren't watching him because he's not going to get recalled for them, obviously. But, it's only a worry of he could easily go somewhere in January in the Championship because he would, he's a complete level above in this league, 100%.
John Hayward described it as boshing a man off. I'd had written down, able to pick a forward pass that happened to lead to a goal, but we'll go with boshed his man off. His strength is also something to admire. A bit more consistency, and I know I'm not under the most pressure to score, Sadie, but maybe a couple of extra goals, and then he's literally the complete package. He's a big package as it is, but he'd be a complete package as a result.
Yeah, absolutely. He just adds, I know Bishop adds strength going forward for Pompey, but playing a little bit deeper, Sadie, like Tuesday night, he boshed that man off. He was just a complete powerhouse. When he was on the ball outside the box yesterday, he was just nudging people away. He kept the ball really well, almost sort of like target man, but just a little bit deeper, and then was able to spread the ball out to the wings, which was really good. And honestly, if those 2 goals went in, that bicycle kick, that could have ended up with me being 3 rows in front of us, and I would have gone absolutely mental. And then that other one where, to be fair, he could have put Koscielny through, but he just really wanted a goal. So it's understandable. He's not really had goals, but I think Pompey fans are looking at it sort of what he does on the ball rather than his goals and assists, so to say. What he does on the ball and what he brings to the side the last couple of games has been phenomenal. Playing just behind the striker and playing in that number 10 role. He just added a different dimension, which, I mean, is quite a surprise. We've not really seen it at Pompey where we've had such a big player playing a number 10 role. We sort of go back to Connor Chaplin when he played. He was sort of like a number 10. Gareth Evans, Brett Pittman when Ollie Hawkins was up top. So we've not really seen that. And Sadie sort of brought in a different dimension to it. And I quite like it. I really do like it. I was quite surprised when he did come in. Not surprised, but we saw him at Gosport on trial and haven't at Waterlooville when he came in on trial a year ago, and a sort of a bit. And then Danny Cowley looked away from him. Then John Messina's brought him in this year, and we were like, what's changed? A completely different player. And we've seen what a year loan at Shrewsbury's done to him. And if he can add a goal, I don't know what that will add to his confidence. And it'd be just, like you said, the complete package, Tom.
Good evening to Mrs. Barney. Thank you for that, John. Dan said, watching the highlights back on. Oh, it wasn't you.
Nope.
Was it your end, Retro?
I'm on mute. I'm the...
Oh, it was. Hello to Mrs. Shirt Sean. Good evening to you. Dan said, watching the highlights back this morning, in my opinion, Lane's second was a great finish, and arguably the more difficult of the two. I'd go with that. And Marcus said we had these injuries last season and melted under Danny's strength in depth and a totally different mentality this season under the Moose, and we're smashing it. Something special happening this year. We'll come to you then, Retro. Just finally, we're halfway through Fournilwrittenalloverit Live already. Good evening and welcome to you. Make sure you leave tonight's stream a like if you're enjoying the conversation. Be sure to have your say below in the live chat too. It really does make the show what it is. Lots of Northampton reaction, Retro, suggesting we were the best team they've played in a long time. I think it takes a lot to bring that out of an opposition. It's been lovely to watch this week. Comfortable games after the goals went in. One touch, direct football, getting the ball out wide quick. Lots to like about this Pompey group and what a difference a week makes. Yeah,
exactly. You know, I think we needed that response from that 4-0 against Blackpool. And, you know, I after that game, I wasn't the most confident. I was like, where are we going to go from here? But all the players stepped up. And again, it's the squad that stepped up this time. And it goes down to the recruitment in the summer. You know, they've recruited well. We have strength in depth, which I don't remember us ever having, you know, for several seasons. And like you're saying about Sadie, the size, the power, you know, we have different ways to play. You know, we're a different. I think that probably the reason why Northampton came on the start is they were set up to play for a Bishop style of play from us, and we were very different. You know, Sadie was knocking his balls down either side. You saw a taster of it at Bolton against Burton, but then you know, yesterday it was something special, and you know, and then Kamara on the wing, he is tasty. I'm liking him. What I see, the creativity he brings, the way he cuts inside, and Rafferty goes down on the outside of him. It's nice to see, and you know, it was a great response. What we needed from a very difficult week before. It's
player ratings time in just a moment. Before we get on to that, Barn, just finally from you on this particular subject, our only criticism at halftime and full time, both myself and yourself, were saying the inability to make it 4-5 or even 6.
Yeah, there were some chances that you could just say. You referred to one a moment ago, like Sadie could have squared it off to Yengi, maybe even twice, when he was just like really positively wanting to get the goal himself. You know, you could almost argue overplaying. Just shoot sometimes. Just have a shot. There was opportunities there, even in that Sadie run where he boshed through 3 men. There's a chance, perhaps before the last man he boshes off, that he can shoot then. I can't say it off straight face. Yeah, when you see Bolton putting 7 past teams, you just don't want your goal difference to be an issue come the end of the season.
It is only actually 3 right now as well, heading into that crunch game. So something we'll get onto later on, I'm sure. 7.7 Hayward as an average rating. It's one of the highest we've had from this team all over the pitch. Plenty of applaudable performances wherever you look. Nice little segue into the man of the match poll.
No, it's phenomenal. And I don't think, I mean, obviously Kamara, potentially that's harsh. I mean, 6.8 though is just sort of an average performance, which is, you know, the way to, I guess you need to look at it. It looks bad versus the rest of the team, but I don't think 6.8 is a terrible score. It's just something he hasn't really, you know, contributed too much to the game. But you don't need, you know, 11 players every single week to contribute. You just need players to make sure that, you know, they're not being left out in the lurch, and you know, they're popping up with bits here and there. And I think that I saw a comment today which really resonated, and I think that it does need, you know, commenting on how big Pack's been in the last 2 games. I think he just we all know that I love Marlon Pack, and he's been, since he came in, I always thought he's going to be fantastic. Here we go. And yeah, I mean, you can see it's not drastically different. Obviously, if we double the games on the right, it's given us similar sort of stats. But I just think there's a different sort of level of composure, and I think that does that does go back through to what you guys were saying about Raggett on the ball at the back yesterday. I think having a man like that in front of you is always more, it's more confidence. It's like having a goalkeeper that can play out with his feet, and that's exactly what Norris has been able to give to us. Having confidence just in front and behind you always allows you to do a little bit more with the ball. Not, feel like you've got zero time on the ball. But yeah, I mean, that, without Pack, games lost 0. He's a funny one. But yeah, no, I just think he deserves a mention, because I think that he's just been pretty stellar coming back in. Because I know last season when he got injured, came back in and took him a bit of time to get up to speed. I remember that Charlton game away from home, and he obviously got sent off, had a bit of a howler there. But yeah, I think that he's just slotted straight back in, and that's exactly what you need from players like that.
Any points to raise from the player ratings, John, or are we pretty much happy with those across the board?
I think they're relatively all right. I agree with everyone else. It's a bit harsh that Kamara was a 6.8, but then again, it's probably what he contributed to the game. Like he did have a number of chances. But again, I think Abu Kamara's the last 2 games have really seen the best of Abu Kamara, really, especially at Burton. That first 45 minutes, he was electric. And he's really flourishing in his main position on the right. So I thought the front 3 behind Yengi yesterday were just phenomenal. Lane, Sadie and Kamara were just absolutely phenomenal. And going back to Paddy Lane, there's no surprise that he's got 9.1 rating. If he could see the game out, he would have had that hat-trick, which he was craving for. And yeah, he's just come into a world of his own recently. So I do. He's probably one of the best wingers in League One. Is that a rogue shout? I think an in-form Paddy Lane is probably one of the better wingers, one of the best wingers in League One, personally.
Barn, it's all about that 9.1 rating, but I said it to Gaz on the way out yesterday, and I feel like it's important that we build on it. Not just to work with the ball at his feet, his shot accuracy, which is very high, his contributions in terms of goals and assists so far in 16 matches, 12 starts, 5 goals, 2 assists is very good at this sort of level. 28 shots and unexpected goals of 2.2 as well. So he's building on that and some. But his work against the ball, his defensive work, the amount of times he won the ball back yesterday, I think, is unusual for a winger at this level, and is probably why John saying how good he is in terms of at this level as a winger. There's not much more you can ask from him.
Yeah, I think his reading of the game and the play yesterday was very good. I think there's an element there that Northampton were really sluggish. They weren't very good at getting the ball moved very quickly, showing through for each other. And if Sparks pressed on his man, then Lane was there to help him mop up and take the ball back for us, in a similar way to what I think Sean said just now about Kamara and Rafferty working together. They worked really well going forward, and Lane and Sparks worked together both forward and back. They defended really, really well together.
He called it, Retro. He called it.
He did.
What do you like most about Paddy Lane?
You talking to me?
Of course.
I like the fact that he has that defensive element to him. I like the fact that he does trap back, that he does do it. Someone like Sparks behind him needs that. Sparks himself's very attacking, and I think the two of them make a good pair. I do like it. The other thing about Paddy is I think he's a confidence player, and he's had a string of good performances, and he's getting better. So I like to see where this takes us. He thrives. I look at those stats you've got there, and my worry is, who do you drop for Morel? Does Morel get back in your side? Because he'd struggle.
If you're John, does he get back in, Retro?
I don't upset everyone here, but I think no.
Okay. On current form, I don't think you can have too many qualms about it. Although there was a time, wasn't there, Haywood, that there was 13 out of 15 games Morel had taken up the armband with the absence of Pack, and we probably saw the best of him that we've seen him in a Pompey shirt. That, of course, that goes with the disciplinary issues. But before that, there came a period where Morel was unplayable. It is just the disciplinary problems that's actually taken him out the side and therefore makes it hard for him to get back in.
Yeah, and I think that, to be honest, I think that what will happen is Morel will be available again and then Sadie will drop out. And I think that's harsh. But I think that Moose really likes, and understandably, the pivot of Pack and Morel, because I'd argue that is one of the best 2 DMs you've had in League One in a long time. I don't know the full everybody's squad for the last decade, but I can't imagine there's a better sort of 2 sitting midfield players than those 2 in a League One side. So, and then it would just allow Robertson potentially to go and have that bit of flair up a bit further up in the pitch. But in saying that, and that's what I 50% agree with Retro. Robertson's been so good at sort of showing that bit of flair in a deeper role, and I don't think that's a bad thing for us. To then have 4 players in front of him just gives him even more option to pick a player, because we all know he can pick a pass better than anyone else in the squad probably. So yeah, it's a really difficult one, but it's a headache that's great for Moose to have. It's you don't want to have shoe-in players, I don't think, at all in the whole season, because it just means that people aren't pulling their weight. So it'll be really interesting to see. He's back again next week, right?
For Bolton,
yeah. He's available. So it'll be interesting. He might play Morel Pack because it's a bit more experience, solidity against a team like Bolton that are going to offer a lot going forward. But it'll be really interesting.
We better choose a man of the match then. That leads us nicely onto it. With the help of you at home, of course. Remember, it's not the panel's choice. It is down to you in the live chat. You've had your say. You've got a last couple of moments to do it while we go around the group. John, who are you picking from your boys tonight as our man of the match on 4-0 Sunday Live?
I mean, Alex Robertson was, again, a class above everyone else. And we saw the best in Sean Raggett. But Paddy Lane was just phenomenal yesterday. So I'm going to have to go with Paddy Lane.
Retro, what were we saying?
I was torn between Raggett and Paddy Lane, but I'm going Paddy Lane.
Barn, no surprises for who you're going with?
Literally a ditto. You can argue on all fronts why you could give Raggett man of the match, but I think Lane just edges it because he had an impact all the way down that side of the pitch.
And a big mention for Shotnessy, though, Barn, because you were keen to make that point, especially that last-ditch moment right at the end where he probably keeps the clean sheet for Pompey.
Yeah, I mean, the whole of that back five's score would have gone down if that goal goes in. That sort of diving header was kind of John Terry Salmon-esque, the way he throws himself in front of the striker just as he's about to toe it in. Absolutely fantastic. Had the crowd celebrating like we'd scored again.
Haywood, what are we saying for man of the match, Sam?
Yeah, I don't think you can give it anyone other than Paddy, really. He's produced 2 fantastic goals as well. They're not exactly tap-ins. So, yeah, he's only getting better. So, looking forward to the hat-trick.
Very much so. And the live chat agrees, 6% for Christian Sadie, 12% for Retro's best mate, Sean Raggett, a whopping 33% for Alex Robertson, taking a third of the vote, and then bang on 50% tonight. Your vote at home, and our 4-0 Sunday Live winner of the man of the match this week is Paddy Lane. Massive congratulations to him. Right then, little bit of fun. Potentially a bit of self-indulgence here on 4-0 Sunday Live. It's time for a little look at the PPG projections, which I know we all love to see. And it's not a sort of an excuse for us to all get very excited. However, current rate of climb after 19 games would suggest that we could be looking at north of 100 points. Of course, the likelihood of this form continuing over the course of the season is low, but even a noticeable drop-off would still mean Pompey are on for a really successful campaign. Pepe, I mentioned it to Lino, I mentioned it to Haywood at the start of the show, but that is quite a black line from a Pompey point of view, miles above where we need to be.
I can't believe it. If we get over 100 points, Tom, I think someone's got to do something. If Pompey genuinely get 100 points this season, there's got to be some sort of
I think Pepe, you've got to get a Pompey crest on your chest if you get over 100 points.
Yeah. No, because it won't happen.
He's not saying no.
That's not a denial.
Yeah, but anyway, if Pompey get over 100 points, then I will be flabbergasted. But okay, they got turned over by Blackpool last week. No questioning that they didn't turn up and it wasn't good. But it's been the reaction since. Yes, Burton and Northampton aren't the greatest teams in the world, but they've come back in style. Messino's praised them for how they've responded. And then obviously next week against Bolton's going to be a tough test. And first v second, that will really show what Pompey are made of this season. If they get a positive result next week, I don't see why Pompey won't finish in the top two. If they generally turn up next week and beat Bolton, I'm not saying it will happen. But if they do genuinely beat Bolton next week, Bolton have won 5, drawn 1 in their last 6. They're on fire at the moment. And if we turn up next week, play our football and our brand of football, then I don't see how we don't finish in those top 2, at least the playoffs, because I think it's like 9 points now to 7th or 6th or wherever it was. I can't remember off the top of my head, but we're looking good, Tom. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. Because
no, of course.
We were in the same position 4 or 5 years ago, 2018-19 season. After 19 games, we're on 44 points. After 19 games this season, we're on 42. So very similar, and we all know how that season ended. So I don't want to get too far ahead of myself.
No worries. But everyone else is getting tattoos, Pepe. So I don't know. But Barn, I suppose it puts events such as last weekend that Pepe's mentioned into perspective, doesn't it? When you visualize the overall picture, but Blackpool, a blip and falls by the wayside, we're all hoping so. But actually on the graph, it makes it into a dip and not a complete upward hill. It's a moment. It's a drop in the ocean. That's the word I'm looking for.
I think the team probably needed it. It's a big learning point and an opportunity really for Moose to understand how his players react, how his players handle with being, quite frankly, slapped. Like we got really beaten quite comfortably. Blackpool didn't really ever look like they got out of second or third gear. They were a very good team. So I think that would have been more about what Moose would have looked into is how the team then turned around into Burton. You know, having a game literally only a few days later, I think is probably better than having to wait a full 7 days through to the Northampton game. It's a chance to react straight away. And then, like we said earlier on in the chat, then having Northampton the following Saturday being the only game in League One, it's a great position to now get us top of the league. Yes, we played a game more than Bolton, but how good is it to go into that game top of the league? It'll be them now trying to catch us and overtake us. But if we win 2-0 and we switch the goal difference round, I think that's a massive statement win, and I see it coming.
We're going to get into the detail on Bolton, but Barney's certainly envisaging a Pompey win at Fratton Park. Retro, I know you love a graph. What do you make of this one?
It's an exciting graph. It is. I look at it and, I echo what Barney said there. I think if we win at Bolton or win against Bolton, I think, that's potentially a 6-pointer that's going to set us up quite nicely. I mean, you echo back to the 18-19 season. You sit there and you talk about, we didn't have the squad depth. We didn't have it. We do have it now. I mean, normally a sign of a good team at the top of the league competing for the top spot, they'll do a little sprinkling in the January transfer window. What are you going to sprinkle? You sort of look at it and go, who are you going to bring in, into this squad, because you're going to have to leave someone else out. And you sit there and go, is it going to be one player? Where would you put him? So no, I'm excited. It's looking good, but the champagne's on ice. Let's get through February.
Hayward, are you as excited about the graph as Retro? Because he seemed extremely excited by the graph.
He did seem excited. I can't believe you uttered the words champions in a matchday vlog on the
potential champions were the words.
On the 2nd of December. The fact you've even said those words, just it's really not. It's not a good place to be, mate. You really can't say stuff like that in December, at the start of December as well.
Potential champions.
We've had far too many times in the past sort of 5 years where it's all been going well, and then the weather gets cold, and we don't have enough winter players to see it out. And yeah, I just think we've been burned too many times. Until we sit here sort of March time, I don't think I can really get that excited. I just think we need to just be basically looking the next game. We just keep going. We've got to get through Christmas. If we can not ruin Christmas 2023, that will be an achievement. That's why I thought I'd get this shirt out whilst I, feel quite festive. I won't feel as festive if we're crumbling by Boxing Day. But yeah, no, it's next game is the most important game of the season, and I think it's going to be like that for a long time. I think we've got to sort of look away from the table, look away from the points, just keep, doing what we're doing, keep winning games, not losing games, and we'll see where we end up.
10 minutes ago.
Put that bet on for you, Hayward, then, seeing as you're not confident at all. If Pompey get 100 points, you get a Pompey tattoo. Can we make that a thing?
Yeah, right.
Clip that.
If we get over 100 points, it doesn't. There's no stipulations on how big or how small. If we get over 100 points, we can come back to this.
Yeah. Will it be a racket?
No.
I just think Fournilwrittenalloverit written all over it across the forehead would be.
It was like literally written all over my forehead. Yeah.
There we go. Sorted.
No, I think we'll come back to that. But over 100 points, that seems a steep ask. But let's see how we are Monday night at about 10 p.m. and then we'll come back to that.
Cool. Looking forward to it. Just under 10 minutes ago here on this weekend's 4-0 Sunday Live. If you've missed any of our live hour, the full show is available to watch from the start now if you want to rewind, or it will be available straight after we're done here at just after 8 o'clock. Fully time-stamped. It's now time to chat about the week upcoming for Pompey and the Bolton preview barn. You've already mentioned it. It will be billed, and it's probably going to be billed by us tonight. It's probably the most crucial game in recent Pompey times. We'll have a bit of build-up here on 4-0 but as you said just then, get this one right, and that really would be fantastic.
Yeah, Sky Sports have seen something big coming up here, haven't they, by picking this game? What a pick by them, really. Because I think at the time Bolton were fourth. So to get first, second, they'll be buzzing.
It's just a note on this, though. That is absolutely pathetic from Sky. I mean, I'm more annoyed because I was due to go to the game. But for Bolton fans coming down on a Monday night, 8 o'clock, that is just pathetic. And, it's completely wrong.
There's not many. To be fair, when the games get moved for midweek, there's always going to be fans that miss out. When it, it works the other way around. One of my best mates is a Bolton fan that lives in Pompey, and he couldn't go at the weekend because he was away, and because it's been moved to the Monday, he can go. So it works both ways. But anyway, it's an enormous game, isn't it? It's going to have Charlton level nerves of just that. Can we do a nice solid performance like we did last season? We 3-1, I want to say.
Yes.
3-1, yeah.
Riley Towler double.
Yep, so I've got last season's home shirt ready to wear on Monday night. They're another team that have got a big, good squad. There's some championship quality players in that team. We just need to be really careful. Personally, I go with the exact same 11 that we started with on Saturday. I don't change anything. I stick with what we had.
Good man. John, you going for same 11 like Peps, like Barn?
John?
Peps?
Huh?
Sorry,
that's...
I
thought you were like...
Go, pay attention, Max.
That's where me calling you John's all gone horribly wrong, isn't it? Peps,
I didn't know you were talking to me, mate. What was the question?
Same 11 or...
Oh, yeah. Look,
get off Tinder.
It's difficult. No. Like, head's gone. No. Would Morel come in? That's the biggest talking point. Where do you play Morel? Where does he get in the team? I think
on the bench.
It's difficult. You could beg the question, could Sadie go as the main striker, play Robertson as 10 and bring Morel in as next to pack? But we haven't really seen Christian Sadie do that this season, have we? So he's been more of a number 10. So there's some elements where you could say keep the same side, but then add an experience in the midfield with Joe Morel wouldn't be amiss. But then you've got to drop one of either Alex Robertson or Christian Sadie. It's a headache for John Messino. It's a good headache. And I just don't... I feel like Morel has to be in the team. But I don't know. Who do you drop? You can't drop Alex Robertson at the moment. He's playing some really good football. And every day I wake up on a match day thinking I get to watch Alex Robertson. So
You've been dreaming all day about him, have you, Peps?
I have.
Yeah.
I have.
Nice. Retro, look deep within yourself and please don't tell me that there isn't a world where you cannot play Morel and Pack as your midfield pairing. I know what Barney's saying about keeping the same 11, but it has to be as strong as you can go. That's the best pairing, other than maybe Oxford's pairing.
In the middle of the park against Bolton, you want the physicality of a Sadie. You don't want a lightweight Morel. And that's it. And, we don't have the Bishop to hold the ball up. So you've got Yengi, who's a different player. He wants the knockdowns. You need the pace on the wings. It's got to be Sadie every day. Morel on the bench, by all means. If Pat gets injured, fine. But you need the power of Sadie.
Go on, Bob.
I was just going to add, I think as well, Morel is now going to be getting a reputation amongst other teams. Any teams that are educated, do their research. He's got that kind of Lee Bowyer vibes from the 90s or the early noughties, where you're going to keep going at him, keep biting at his ankles and hope that he snaps at you like he's done 3 times already this season. I don't want to run that risk. I don't want to go down to 10 men against a team like Bolton. I'd rather start with the confident midfielders we've had with Pack and Robertson. I think they've both done fantastic in their roles. And Sadie's been a fantastic 10 the last couple of games. I don't see why you'd change it.
Where's Sean Dyche come from? Bring back Barney.
I need a glass of water. I normally have a beer, but I've got to drive in a minute, so I can't have one.
Mark said, don't forget Oxford playing Peterborough. If we beat Bolton, let's say Oxford and Peterborough is a draw. It'll be a good day at the office. It absolutely will. Dan said, no nerves, please. As a crowd, it's our duty to get the old go rocking Monday night. I was just about to mention that. Circumstances to consider, Hayward. Monday night trip for Bolton, we've mentioned. An intimidating Fratton Park with Milton End home fans as well, we should point out. It certainly favours us slightly.
Oh, massively, yeah. I mean, Fratton Under the Lights is a special place to be, albeit everything going well. And that's the key, I think. And I think in a game like this, as the season's going so far, I don't think there's any reason for us to not, believe that the Fratton faithful will very much be behind the team from minute 1 to minute 90. And that is the sort of thing live on TV we need to be showing more and more of, because, it's been tough at times, and some of those midweek games under the lights have been a little bit hostile in the past. But I think that there's no reason why we shouldn't be, proper rocking it. And I think that it's going to be one of those games, Peterborough at home, that sort of thing. Those, you reminisce on those and how sort of energetic they are. And I do think, if Morel plays, he gets booked 100%. But I'm probably with you, Tom. I think that Morel and Pack, I just worry, Adebayo Ajo, if that's how you say his name, and Dion Charles, they're both players that are so physical. And I appreciate you saying about Sadie needing to be physical, but he's going to be completely too far away from them if he's playing number 10. And I just worry. I know Robertson is technically phenomenal, but there's only so far technical ability can get you in this sort of league when, you put 2 massive men on one, smaller, better technical player. So it'll just be an interesting one. I think Moose is in a really tough position. He could be very much lose-lose. He changes it. We don't go well. Why have you changed it? He doesn't change it. It doesn't go well. It's why has Morel not got back in? It's an obvious game for him to be playing in. I presume you want to chat about this, so let's go on to that.
Well, no, I did chat about this in a moment. But before we do so, Pepe, I wanted to build on what Hayward was saying there. Bolton are fantastic. They have had an exemplary start to the season. By the time next Monday comes around, they won't have lost a league game for 2 months, assuming that next Tuesday goes well for them. Maybe this Tuesday, actually, a couple of days' time. They do have a plethora of goal-scoring talent as well. Hayward's mentioned Adebayo Ajo, Magoma, Jack Iredale, and most notably Dion Charles. However, beyond that, Peps, should Bolton go well, I know it's never a favourable run in League One, but those are some bottom half teams. You look how badly Exeter have done recently. I don't want to curse it, but that's a pretty favourable run after Bolton.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. If this Bolton test will be the biggest one of the season so far, first v second. And then after that, it's you look Shrewsbury. What, they scored 12 goals all season in the league? I think is that still the case? I can't remember when I last checked, but 12 goals. You should be beating those sort of sides. Fleetwood are in trouble. Bristol Rovers have just brought in a new manager. Exeter have just in free fall since we last played them, and then Stevenage on New Year's Day. That'll be a tough test, but over Christmas, you should really be beating your Shrewsbury's, your Fleetwoods, Bristol Rovers and Exeter's. So if they can get through Bolton, then the next couple of games, Tom, we could be a bit of a distance ahead. But I don't want to say that because I don't want to get too far ahead. It's just all calm
There we
down.
go. It's all up. So there, tranquilo. Retro and Barn have kind of done a bit of a double up, and we have a bit of a side. We'll call it the Bosch private chat, and it does tend to go against me a little bit. While I'm trying to present for the live hour, I get Retro and Barn and all sorts going on to me. So I'm not going to repeat what's been said in there, but thanks for that, Retro. Much appreciated. Your final thoughts on the prospect of Bolton, and then perhaps the couple of weeks after that and the lead up to Christmas.
I think it's going to be 12 points for Christmas.
Between now and then?
Between now and then. I think the Bolton will be the test, but I agree the rest are must-wins. And I think 12 points to Christmas, and then we'll have a discussion again.
Barn, 12 points to Christmas?
Go on, Barney. Go on.
I'd love it, but I mean, haven't we only got 3 games before Christmas?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Once
If
That's
we
what he
include
means,
Boxing
I
Day,
think.
if we include Boxing Day, I feel I could argue Bristol Rovers could be the toughest game. I think Bolton at home, they've got the potential to be really good, but I think I'm feeling confident based on the last 2 performances. I think we'll have learned so much from Blackpool that we'll right those wrongs, and we already have to a degree.
Score predictions time, everybody. It's just gone 8 o'clock. We're a couple of minutes over. Do apologise. We'll start with Mr. John Messino.
Cheers, mate. Thank you. Great joke.
Sorry, John.
Look, I'll take a point next week against Bolton. My heart says 2-1 Pompey. My head says 2-2. So I'm going to lean with the 2-1 Pompey because I'm a Pompey fan. So let's just go over 3 points. 2-1.
It's quality. If I say John Messina at the start of the stream, Peps, I've got to stick with it right through to the end. It has to be a thing that we carry through for the hour.
I've won this quarter zip. I've bought it last week, and now I've been peppered with John Messino.
Yeah,
why have you bought it? You just because you've seen John.
Yeah, I just thought.
I bought one as well. I have bought a quarter zip in the last week. Is it a half zip or a quarter zip, Peps?
Quarter zip.
It's
quite nice. It's quite nice. John Messino. So
Primani's finest.
Is it Primani? Was it a next
Nah.
job or a? It's a
ASOS.
Zara, isn't it? It's got to be a Zara.
ASOS.
Oh, Peps, I had you down as a Zara man, mate.
Nah, sorry, mate.
You a Zara man, Retro?
Afraid not. No, afraid not.
Score?
I'm going to go for a confident 2-0 win, and I think Yengi's going to get us first.
God, you're so brave.
Nice.
You're brave.
Man from down under, Hayward, getting involved?
Yeah, similar sort of situation to Pepe. You know, head saying one thing and what I want is completely different. No, I think let's be confident. I think 3-1 Pompey. I can't see how we keep a clean-o. I would love if we keep a clean sheet, but
We got to rag it.
They just suck 7 past the team in this league. But rag it. Depends how he plays. Maybe we'll keep clean sheet. But 3-1 Pompey, I think, we're going to have too much. It's going to be a special night under the lights, and Sky will get to watch it all.
A clean-o?
Clean-o.
Where's that come from?
I don't know.
That's what the people
Harry
who are
Neville's
down
here.
with it. Bomb?
I'm agreeing. I think I don't see us keeping a clean sheet. They do like to score a fair amount. By the sounds of it, for both Oxford and Bolton, their game was kind of a bit of an odd one. Wasn't particularly positive in an attacking sense either way. I think it could be a really high scoring one. I could see them getting a couple, and so for us to get the win, I think it's going to be like a 3-2.
Oh, could you imagine a 3-2 at Fram Park? Big Bosh. Dill's going for a 2-2. Lee's saying 3-1 Pompey. Dan's going for a comprehensive 2-0 win. Carl's saying 3-1 Pompey or 4. Or Pompey 4 and Bolton 2. Thank you for that, Carl. Ryan's going for a 1-1. 2-2 from Pompey in it. Mush Martin's going for a draw as well. Who on earth is typing? Jesus Christ, Retro. Is that you? My word. Is it just someone's typing? What was that?
Oh, mate.
Anyway, on we go. Head loss. Yengi is the man. Get in the first team. Matt saying for a 2. nil Pompey. Claire's going for a 2-1 Pompey. Knowing you lot saying keeping a clean sheet, watch it be a 0-0. Stephen's going for a 4-3 Pompey on Facebook. Sorry, Stephen's on Facebook. Pompey aren't on Facebook. Stephen is. Dave's going for a 4-0 written all over it. Jesse's predicting a Raggett Masterclass. A 4-0 from Derek. 3-3 Madness from Noz Herb 1. So thank you for that, Noz.
Called a wish John Messina.
And Pepe's absolutely not a wish John Messina. I completely avoided that one.
But the fact I'm being compared with John Messina is an absolute privilege.
It's not a wish, mate. It's a worthy comparison. That's what it is. Anyway, that is it from us. You've got more than 7 minutes over on 4-0 Sunday Live. Retro, it's been a pleasure. Happy Christmas.
Likewise, thank you. It was good.
Bum, what a week.
What a week. 6 points if we ignore last weekend. So, yeah, very good one. Pleasure. And I probably won't see you until Boxing Day if I don't get to any home games early.
Nice. That feels like a long time, Barn. I've seen you more.
Oh no, Bolton's on the Monday. But I'll come see you before the game
man.
against Bolton.
Come see us before the game. Pep's going to see you Monday, mate.
Yeah, I'll be there, mate. I'll probably end up going to all of them. You know me, so I'll be there.
Next time we see Mr. Alex Hayward will be Exeter away.
Very much looking forward to it. That's the only points we picked up before then. Massive game next Monday. Come on, the boys. Let's get behind them. And yeah, everybody have a great week.
Please sound any more enthusiastic, Hayward. Please.
I'll be enthusiastic in the chat. Don't you worry about that when we're 3-0 up.
Love it. Right, that's it from us. Thanks for watching Play at Pompey. Bye for now. Have a great week. And we'll see you next Monday for the big one. Take care.
Get on the Blues.